Hi dreamers! Welcome to Pixels and Dreams, weaving the magic of games. Today we're going to talk about something that's not specifically related to games. In fact, this can help you in many places. And it's about the magic of rubber ducks and what to do when you're stuck. Rubber ducks are in fact magical. You don't believe me? Well, it turns out that rubber ducks aren't just magical by themselves. They bring out your magic. You might be confused. There's a very popular concept among programmers or engineers that if you are dealing with a problem that you're stuck on, it helps to explain it to someone else. And often, as you're explaining the problem to another person, you'll figure out the solution and the answer for yourself, just in part of that explanation. But it can be difficult to ask people to listen to you every time you run into a potential problem. And so a lot of programmers keep a rubber duck on their desk, and they talk to their rubber duck earnestly to talk through the problems that they're facing. I don't keep a rubber duck at my desk. I keep Unikitty. Unikitty sits on my desk and listens to my problems. I wanted to talk through what I do when I'm trying to break through a problem that I'm stuck on. First, identify the problem. A lot of times we can feel frustrated or stuck or upset about something without fully identifying exactly what that thing is. Let's say that you've just cooked a meal and you don't think it tastes very good. Well, it's easy to say, I don't like this, it doesn't taste good, and this meal was a failure. But the problem isn't that the whole meal was a failure. It's probably one component of it. And so identifying that problem might allow you to save the dish or at least not make the same mistakes next time. So you need to figure out if it's too salty or it's overcooked or whatever the problem is. Not liking it is the symptom of the problem. You need to identify what the problem is in order to find a solution for it. If you're making a game, you might say, my players aren't having fun. Well, that's a symptom, but why aren't they having fun? And as you explore more, you might find, well, my players feel that the weapons aren't powerful enough. Well, they say that the weapons aren't powerful enough, but is increasing the weapon damage going to solve the problem? It could be that the problem is that the weapon impact isn't powerful enough, or the magical beam isn't bright enough, or the numbers above the enemy's head aren't big enough or noticeable enough. Those would be the problems to solve, and that's what you have to look for. You have to dig through the problems. Now, sometimes the problem is easy. My code doesn't compile. Well, that's a straightforward problem. So, what do you do once you've identified the problem? Well, this might sound a little repetitive, but you should confirm once you've identified it that it is a problem and it should have your priority. This is something that you can do both in game development and in projects and in your real life. Okay, well, should we work on making it feel more magical, add more visual effects and sparkles and animations? Or is our priority fixing the crafting system of the game or adding the next part of the story? You know, how much of our problem is a problem versus the other things we have to deal with. Now, once you've done these two steps, you are certain that you have a problem and you need to address it. Break down the problem. Figure out what makes the problem, the different qualities of it, the different things you need for a solution, how to address it, and what to address, how to find those components. As you identify the necessary components for a solution, one of the things you'll run into is that you might lack terminology. A lot of advice is just Google it. Googling something can be hard when it's new to you or new to the world. So practice figuring out ways to describe your problem. And if you put in search terms and muck around with it, you might find other terminology or ways to refer to the concepts that you are dealing with. Whether that's a baking problem and you don't know the word crumb to mean the way that the bubbles form in the cross sections of bread, or if that's a programming term and you don't know what component systems are. Then, once you've done the research, you've identified the problem, potential solutions, way to approach them, any other missing information, you can create the solution itself. So, with your rubber duckies and unikitties held close, I hope that you now know what to do when you're stuck on a problem.